The action movie from the turn of the century was a very different beast from the 80s and even the 90s. With an ever-growing dependency on CGI, some would say the action movie lost some of its heart and soul. Others would say that from now on, whatever anyone could imagine, we could see on screen. And we are here to celebrate the action movies of the 2000s. But first, here's Neil with 10 noughties action movie facts.
Thank you very much, Pav, and hello to everybody. So
Neil!
What I thought we would... So what I would thought this time is we would do the top 10 highest grossing action movies worldwide from the 2000s. 2000s being 2000 to 2009, okay? Based on their total worldwide box office revenue. So at number 10, we have Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix in 2007. Worldwide gross, 940 million, directed by David Yates.
Things at Hogwarts are far worse than I feared.
Oh, I like it. Number 9, we have The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, my favourite one, controversially. Worldwide gross, 898 million, directed by Peter Jackson.
A wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins.
Oh, bless him. Number 8, Spider-Man 3, 2007. Worldwide gross, 895 million, director Sam Raimi.
This feels good.
And then at number 7, we have Lord of the Rings again, The Two Towers, 2002. Worldwide gross, $951 million. Director Peter Jackson.
Tree? I am no tree.
And then at number 6, we got another Harry Potter, and it's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in 2001. Worldwide gross, $974 million. Directed by Chris Columbus.
You're a wizard, Harry.
At number 5, we got Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End in 2007. The worldwide gross was $960 million and directed by Gore Verbinski.
Drink up me Hearties, yo-ho.
And then we have Lord of the Rings at number 4, Return of the King 2003. Worldwide gross $1.42 billion.
I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
And then we've got at number 3, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest 2006. Worldwide gross $1.66 billion. Director Gore Verbinski.
You're not introduced yourself all these years as Captain Jack Sparrow.
And then at number 2, we've got The Dark Knight 2008. Worldwide gross $1.5 billion. Director Christopher Nolan.
To them, you're just a freak. Like me.
And at number 1, crashing all records, Avatar. Worldwide gross $2.923 billion. Directed by James Cameron.
I see you.
Well, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much, Neil.
I did realise, if anybody listens back, I may have made a couple of mistakes in the way I read out the 9-point-something billion, but trust me, the figures add up. I may have said them a little bit wrong. But hey,
again, you got one bloody job.
we're all. I was getting too excited to get it all out, as they say.
Well, as they say. So yes, we're here. I was going to say it, but I'm not going to. We're here to do 2000s action movies. So we're going action movies from the year 2000 to 2009. And we're here, of course. Neil is back. It's so lovely to have you back.
It's lovely to be back, my man. Lovely
good.
To be back. And what a man for action, eh?
Well, I mean, when I see you, all I think is action.
Yes.
Which is crazy after the conversation we've just had.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So how? I mean, look. I was looking at as I do. I write down the ones I can think of off the top of my head, and then I was looking at just going onto Google and putting in action movies
lists. Yeah, that's what I do.
Lists. And I must admit, I was a bit underwhelmed in regards to the quality of action movies from 2000 onwards. To be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, I haven't gone, we could easily go for just superhero movies. I've got a couple of superhero movies in my top 10, but for specific reasons.
I've got a few. Yeah, I've got a few.
But apart from superhero movies, I mean, how easy or hard did you find putting your top 10 together?
I found it really hard because, there's a lot that I would say probably my first 2, 3 will probably, especially my number one is definitely my number one. And then from probably 4 to 2, they were given. But the rest, there was so many number of films that I could have put in from 10 to like 5 or 10 to 4 that I really, really struggled. So I purposely put the ones, not just that I think is critical merit or that are known as being really good. I just put what I really enjoyed and what I really enjoy now. I don't really, I'm not looking for the kudos of being, oh, that's a brilliant answer and all of that. No, I'm just going, enjoyed. I'm not going to put any foreign language films in. I thought, let's just go Hollywood action movies. No,
are you telling me that there are no French,
no, I just went Hollywood action
South Korean
movies.
Kind of thing?
Well, I was thinking of one South Korean, but I thought, no, everybody knows how much I love it. It's too obvious.
Was that Old Boy?
Yeah. It's too obvious. It would have just won.
It was close to being in my top 10, I must admit, Old Boy.
But also, that could easily be a thriller, couldn't it? Or I mean, some people have even said it could be a drama. I mean, I don't think it is personally a full-on action movie. It's got some great action set pieces, but it's not an action movie.
Yeah,
to me.
I agree.
And there's another one that I have contention. When I was looking through lists, I would say it's 50% on some lists, 50% off. And I would class it as a comedy and not an action movie, and that's Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
And that's why
I think you're going to be, there's going to be, because I know that on a couple of our honourable mentions, people have mentioned Hot Fuzz, and I think it's how you want. I mean, look, again, nobody's
not
top 10 is wrong.
No,
if you think that, I mean, it has got action in it.
Yeah,
the majority of movies will have some kind of action in it.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't class it as it. To me, it is a comedy. That's what I would class it as.
That's exactly what I would put it as. To me, an action movie is all right. I don't know. Let's go from the 90s, like True Lies.
Yes, exactly.
You know, a full-on action movie. That's what I would consider an action movie. Yes. So it was fun making the list, but I just thought, no, let's put some merit of how and why I put them where they're, and like that. Some could change throughout the weeks, as they always can,
as they always do.
Yeah,
so we're going to do this because I want to find out. So let's just do this.
Lisa's challenge.
What the fuck are you saying?
Okay, thank you, Lisa. So how many do you think we've got the same in our top 10?
I'm going to go 3.
Oh, okay.
Quite low, but you might. I don't know. Probably I'm going to be well off now. No, actually, let's go out. I'm going to go 4. Let's give it a 4.
Okay. It's guest prerogative that you can do that. I'm going to go 5. Oh, fuck, no.
You can go to say.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know, but... See, I've got one... No. Okay, I'm going to go 5.
Okay.
I'm going to go 5. Although I think one of them, it might be slightly different, but I'm going to go 5. We'll see. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, okay, yeah, it's a weird one because I mean, when we did we've done 80s action movies and 90s action movies, I wrote like 20 down straight away without even thinking.
Yeah.
This one I found it really, really hard. I think I started with like 5 or 6 and then thought I need to go and have a little look.
Yeah, because a lot of them I'd forgotten about as well. Did you notice how many 2000s movies are easily forgettable?
Yes,
you may well have really enjoyed them, but by Christ, they are forgettable. And
also, there was a lot of, from what I could see, where if they were, what are they called? If they were trilogy movies, what's the word? What am I looking for? Jesus, not trilogy movies. They're franchise movies.
Franchise, yeah.
The first one was great, and then all the other ones after were pretty shit. Apart from one. Which obviously we'll get to. But, okay, go on then, Neil. Hit us with your number 10.
So number 10, I'm going to put where Marvel Studios came back to the forefront and it was their own thing. It was the first of their movies. I am going to put Iron Man.
That's my number 3.
Is it?
Yeah, that's my number 3.
There you go. We're in already.
Yeah.
I loved it when I first watched it. I've grown a bit distant from it. I think it's got great moments in, but it's also got some not so great moments in. But you can't go amiss. It started everything, didn't it? It started the end credit sequence. You know, the CGI still holds up really well for a 2008 movie. There is some bits that you look and you think, oh, okay, but that's the problem with the 2000s, isn't it? The CGI looks awful now. Yeah, I just really like it, and I love Robert Downey Jr. I think he is Iron Man, you know, and he was great in the role. Be interesting to see what he does with Doctor Doom.
Where do you stand on that?
Hey, I have a little bit of faith in Marvel, even though a few of their things recently have been a bit shy. I think that's probably inspired casting, to be honest.
I mean, it's definitely something that's going to get the panties wet of the geeks. And
I mean, they're not going to tell you anything, but you assume it's going to be linked somehow, aren't you? They can't just suddenly have.
Well, it'll be from a different universe, won't it? I would assume, but that kind of thing, that whole multiverse thing seems to be a perfect get out of jail free card, because you can literally lay that blanket on anything and go, multiverse, it's multiverse, you know. So I think you're right. It is definitely a way of getting a massive cheer at San Diego Comic-Con, isn't it, to have that kind of thing going on.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued to see it, if you know what I mean. I'm really intrigued to see what it does and where it goes.
Yeah,
and I like the Fantastic Four. I always, when I was a kid, I loved the cartoons and the comics. So I don't even hate those original movies. They're just,
they were a little bit cheesy, weren't they?
Cheesy, but camp and everything. But they sort of look more like the Fantastic Four that that the reboot tried to do.
Exactly.
Awful.
And the reason that Iron Man is so high for me is because it started it all. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Nobody would have known when they cast Robert Downey Jr. because no one would touch him.
No,
and the fact that has started something which for 10 years became almost faultless, culminating in Avengers Endgame, which anybody who's listened to this podcast know how much I love Avengers Endgame. That it's just what a bold, and and Iron Man wasn't even like a grade A character, but they made it into like the perfect way of starting this journey that they went on. So that's why it's, and it's so high for me.
It's a great sort of origins movie as well. It's we all knew who he was, but we weren't. I knew who he was, but I wasn't familiar with him. It was not a comic that I picked up much or anything like that. They did a fantastic job in that sense, and I love the opening sequences when he's all holed up in that prison as a hostage. I think it's fantastic.
Such a good choice. Such a good choice. Well, I'm going to say that because it's in my top 10. Okay, my number 10. Now, this was one that was a late entry for me, and I thought it probably should be higher anyway, to be honest. But I'm going to go for the original Bourne Identity.
Oh, that's mine. That's my number. We're going to be all the same, aren't we? That's my number 7.
That's your number 7?
Yeah.
It kind of Paul Greengrass, wasn't it, that directed it? And
not the first one. It was Doug
Lyman.
No, it's Doug Lyman, wasn't it?
Doug Lyman. Okay.
Yeah.
But that whole sort of handheld thing. It was gritty. It was dirty. It
made Bond look poor, didn't it?
Exactly. And I think that's what it then showed Bond the way to go.
Yeah.
But some great action scenes in it. Matt Damon was great.
Fantastic.
As well. And that, when I said about there were so many movies in the 2000s that had great first episodes and then the rest of them weren't particularly good, the whole of that trilogy were really, really good. They're
fantastic. As the 3 movies, they really didn't need to make number 4 was fine. Whatever it was fine.
They
didn't need it.
No,
I mean,
and also
they
did the one with
and that's okay
Hawkeye as well.
Yeah,
Jeremy Renner, didn't they?
Born, I can't remember what that one's called now.
I can't remember.
But I actually quite like that, and it fits into the universe and tells you quite well what it's going on. It's got Ed Norton in it as well, so it's got quite caliber. I actually don't mind that one. I actually prefer that one over Greengrass's Jason Bourne.
Oh, right.
Whereas Jason Bourne looks totally, it looks great. It's action and it fills in 2 hours fine. It's pointless. Right. You didn't need it. It ended perfectly on, on the identity or whatever it was, wasn't it? Bourne Legacy, was that it?
Yeah, there was Supremacy, which I think was
Identity was the first one.
I'd have to have a look.
Legacy or whatever. Yeah, but the three movies together. And when I was laid up, no, actually, it wasn't when I was laid up. It was while I was while COVID was in. It was the trilogy that I rewatched again because I hadn't seen it for so long, and then realized and the reason I put it in the top 10 and not the other ones is because it's the start of the trilogy. That is a great trilogy.
So it's Identity in 2002, the Supremacy in 2004, and then the Bourne Ultimatum 2007, and then Legacy. The Bourne Legacy in 2012.
Yeah, which there we go. Yeah,
so there you go. Look at that. Two goes.
And Matt Damon, who knew he was going to be such a great action star?
Indeed.
I thought he did it so well.
He's one of these guys that can do it all, though, isn't he? That's the thing. He's a very, very good actor. Okay, then you're number 9 then.
I know a lot of people that hate this movie, and I call them movie snobs. It's Taken, 2008.
Okay. Yeah, that didn't make my top 10, I must admit.
I revisited the Taken films again while I was laid up with my leg because they're all on Disney. There's a case where the first film is so much fun and so you go get 'em, Liam, that sort of thing.
When there's perfect revenge kind of movies.
It is, and it's it's a perfect, again, popcorn movie. You're really rooting for the good guy to beat the bad guys. The other two are just pointless sequels again. They're just trying to string it along. That's what I call the Jaws syndrome.
Well, that was really what I was talking about in regards to the movies, that the first one's great. It made loads of money, surprisingly. They weren't expecting it because Liam Neeson wasn't an action star, was he?
Not really, no. Not there.
It wasn't thought of like that.
No.
And then, I mean, he kind of then sort of got typecast in that role for loads of straight to video, straight to DVD.
I mean, it's just all he does now, really, isn't it? He'll do a drama every now and then or a voiceover, but he's basically found his niche.
He's just finished filming The Naked Gun.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, him and Pamela Anderson. So he is going to be Frank Drebin. I don't know what Pamela Anderson's going to be. I mean, I'm assuming it's Nice Beaver or whatever.
I really hope they don't just they're remaking it, just do a new one, write a new script. And
so I'm not particularly.
But I suppose he's getting the money where he can because his fame. I mean, he's not done himself any favors with some of the things he said.
No, exactly.
So, and then he doesn't seem to be what I would say a mainstream actor now, leading man. His films are basically straight to streaming or whatever now. He does appear in other things, and he is such a good actor.
He's a great actor.
Yeah,
he's quite Jin, for goodness sake.
He is, and Schindler.
Yeah, and Schindler, of course.
But Taken, as I said to a few of my snobby film friends, you're missing the point of what Taken is. You're thinking about it as being this Tarantino style script with, great sort of Denis Villeneuve's bloody vision on the screen, and all you want is just a Burt Reynolds-esque film in 2000.
Exactly.
And it does it, and it fits the profile so well.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I give you that one. I haven't got it in my top 10, but I would give you that one. My number 9, you're talking about Bourne Identity and the fact about Bond, and I think that's the reason why my number 9, Casino Royale, is the movie that it is.
I've actually put that higher. It's my number 5.
Have you? Oh, dear. Yeah. Again, because it is gritty. It is, it's not that there's not that much kind of levity in it, which you normally get in, say, like a Roger Moore or any of the Bond movies. There's a little bit of levity in there. Casino Royale isn't. It's the fact that he's this dirty killer, and I kind of liked that. It was a bit of a shame because it seemed like with Daniel Craig, it was one great one, and then one really shit one, and then one great one, and then one shit one, and he didn't seem to be able to get a good run of really good movies.
It's like Quantum of Solace, isn't it? I don't actually think it's a poor film.
No, it's not a poor film.
It's a great action movie, but it's not a Bond film.
They set the bar quite high with Casino Royale.
But it's not a Bond film, is it?
It
doesn't feel like a Bond film. It just feels like an action movie. I still think, I used to think Skyfall was the greatest of the Daniel Craig movies.
I agree.
I used to. I now think. I now think Casino Royale. Casino Royale is the one. I do you remember all the worry when Daniel Craig took it on? He came
Yeah.
up the Thames with the
life jacket on,
safety jacket on,
yeah.
and all of that, and everybody's like, "Oh, it can't be Bond," and how great he was.
Yeah.
I
mean, the thing is, though, he's not. I mean, I can't talk, but I don't think he's conventionally good looking.
No,
you know,
great
I mean,
body,
he had a great body. I mean, the way he got his body in shape for the coming out of the water scene and all of that kind of stuff is great. But I don't think he was like a conventionally. You look at someone like Pierce Brosnan and you think, he looks like Bond, you know, suave and very debonair and stuff like that. Shush, Fred. Sorry, the dog's here.
It's just a little orphan boy you've got living in the corner of your studio. Shush, Fred. Know your place.
Know your place and get back in the corner. Get up there with little Bobby Pratstick. Oh, there's a name. There's a blast from the past.
And the other way they royally fucked up the Bond franchise, to me, with Daniel Craig, and this is a huge problem, is they should have really done it as individual stories all the way down. This narrative throughout lost me.
Yeah.
Rewatching a lot of them recently, it still loses me. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
just be a story and stop.
Who were Spectre and all that kind of stuff. You could see what they were trying to do. They were trying to have this
universe,
kind of thing, and it didn't work.
No,
and all of a sudden you got lost in regards to who's fighting who's the leader.
I mean, I need to rewatch the last one. No Time to Die.
I've only seen it once.
I've seen it once and a bit. I wasn't overly impressed the first time. I thought it was very okay.
Yeah.
Going to upset people. And I wasn't as moved as a lot of people said I would be with the spoilers, with the death of Bond.
Yeah.
But then to me, Bond never dies.
No, it kind of feels to me like it was like they're just painting themselves in a corner now.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, they've said, isn't it? What's his name? Kick-Ass, isn't it? It's going to be the new Bond.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, well, what's his name? Aaron Taylor
Johnson, yeah.
And they've said that they've learnt their mistakes and they're going to do things differently.
Wow.
I hope they do, and I hope they go back to single movies, single stories with the tongue firmly put back in cheek.
Yes,
they can do the action as it is, but Bond doesn't get hurt. Bond doesn't die.
No,
he doesn't.
And that's the whole point of him.
Yeah,
is that he does. I always thought it was that thing where it's just a code name, and the person is just, it becomes a different person. Someone gets issued 007 and they become James Bond.
Yeah, that would work perfectly, wouldn't it?
And that's why, 'cause I think, wasn't it in Skyfall, the Albert Finney character they said was supposed to have been Sean Connery. They were going to get.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, they were going to get Sean Connery to do that, or the plan was that they wanted to, and he didn't want to do it, because it'd be like the retired Bond.
Works.
You know, and it would have been great to do that, but they
yeah, Bond doesn't need a narrative throughout the whole everyone. And
he doesn't need a universe, does he? It's Bond, and it's about Bond.
You know, Bond. You know, here's his adventure. He's on this time. He's going to save the world. Thank you very much.
And he's going to shag a load of ladies.
Yeah. Do it. You know, if they can do it on the remake of the Rivals on bloody Disney, people are just around shagging everyone. Let's have Bond and put him back in the 60s.
That's what I think would be a great do, to make it a period piece. I think that would be great, because then
the element of suspense would be a lot more, because he doesn't have the technology to do it.
No. I think that would be a great idea.
But I would love to have seen Tarantino's Casino Royale. He always wanted to make that one.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. We know that. No. Go on then, your number 8 then, Neil.
Is another Marvel film, but it's X-Men 2. It's one Fox owned, the X-Men franchise. I loved the first X-Men. I still think it holds up today. But watching the second one, it's dark. It's great. It is so good. And Brian Cox is just fantastic in it, as they all are. The set pieces have still got enough practical application to them that they look great. You know, the whole policing when they arrive at the at the school is just fantastic. Hugh Jackman is never been better as Wolverine. It's one of his best. I mean, you could argue the standalone with Logan and that different to me. You know, and then to have such a high thing be crashed down by such a poor third film. it's just, it makes you sad, really. And I watched these three again recently, and yeah, the first two are so good, but that third one,
and the
it's
trouble
a
as well
Brett Ratner movie.
It's also, but the first two, was the third one a Bryan Singer movie?
No, it's Brett Ratner. That
was Brett Ratner. But even the first two now have got that Bryan Singer stink on it.
Yeah, I just ignore that. You've got to ignore that. It's like watching Usual Suspects.
Well,
it's such a good movie. You've got to forget about it.
I watched See No Evil, Hear No Evil last week for the first time in years. And of course, Kevin Spacey's in that.
He is,
I'd forgotten that he was in it.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, okay, that was Kevin Spacey. But
are we not allowed to, even though he's been acquitted of the wrongdoing, are we not allowed to like him now?
I think he should be able to, because he's not been found guilty of anything.
No, not at all.
I don't. Unless I've missed something.
Well, I watched his interview with a certain PM, Piers Morgan, and I don't like that man, but I did like that interview. I think he came across really well spoken, and I actually felt sympathy with the things that he had to endure, and especially now it's come out that there was no evidence for a lot of this. So we're not going to
thing
go
is, though,
into
it's hard to make a judgment when you don't know everything. You know, and I've been sort of caught before having an opinion on something and not knowing the full facts.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you find out, oh shit, actually there was something there. I don't know the full facts on that. I know that he's had to sell his like houses and whatever he had as to pay for lawyers and things like that. So, you know.
But yeah, as I say, I haven't seen anything to say any otherwise that he's innocent. If I'll change my opinion if people can tell me that he's guilty.
But yeah, X-Men 2 didn't quite make my top 10, I must admit. But it is, I mean, the first two.
Revisit them if you've not seen them in a while. They're on Disney Plus. They really are good movies.
Yeah, I mean, X-Men Days of Future Past is great as well.
And then they did that Apocalypse.
So it's like there seems to be the third one, and not every X-Men franchise just ends up being shit.
Yeah, because First Class was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, First Class was good.
That was Matthew Vaughn, wasn't it?
That was.
I remember Days of Future Past.
I think Matthew Vaughn did Days of Future Past as well, didn't he?
I can't remember.
Because I
know he's a producer on the third one as well, though, isn't he? So I can't remember who directed the.
Let me have a quick look. Directed by Bryan Singer.
Oh, there you go.
Days of Future Past by Bryan Singer. I didn't know that.
There you go.
Okay, my number 8, I'm going for 2002 and The Stafe and The Transporter.
Again, popcorn fun.
Absolutely popcorn fun. Now, I like Jason Statham as a action star because
I love him as an action star.
He does all his stuff. You know what I mean? He doesn't need a stunt man pretty much because he can do it. You know, all the fighting and stuff like that. But I can remember watching The Transporter the first time, and again, it's one of those perfect things. The first movie is absolutely great. Then when they do the second one, it's pretty much the same kind of thing as the first one,
and it becomes okay. And
then the third one, I don't think he was he in. I think he was in the third one, and then they did Then they did The Transporter reimagined or something, and
then they did a TV series. Am I right?
I think they did a TV series as well. But the first one is so like economical with story and plot, but in a good way. And there's no high convoluted like this, that, and the other. It's just very, very simple. And Jason Statham is just brilliant as an action star. He is just so good.
He is. He's got a lot of charisma. He's acting
a lot. Yeah, but I think that's a mark of a good action star.
The Beekeeper. I really enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that.
Really enjoyed that.
Because again, it's a bit like Taken. Is like he's going there and he's just killing all the bad guys.
Yeah,
and that's what you want your action star to do. You don't want there to be rhyme or reason. Same as John Wick.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got he knows what he's got to do. Payback is another one, the Mel Gibson one.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that in a while, but that was great.
It's just one thing that they've got to do, and if people get in the way, I'm just going to kill you, and I'm not going to ask for you to say I'm sorry or whatever. I'm just going to kill you, get you out of the way because there's one person I need to get to. And that's what that's what the Beekeeper is kind of like.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's so much fun. Yeah, it's that David. What's his name? Who did like the first Suicide Squad. David Ayer, isn't
David
it?
Ayer, that's right. Yeah.
And
the
I think
thing
he's
is-
a great action director. So.
And the thing is like when you heard The Beekeeper, I can remember people taking the piss online about that, thinking, "Oh my god, Jason Statham's a beekeeper."
You wouldn't
But
fuck about with him, though, would you?
It was very clever. It was very, very clever.
A lot of fun, and I've enjoyed him in all sorts. He carries the Meg movies. People are telling me they're a bunch of shit, but who doesn't just revel in that watching shite?
Because they are what they are. That's the thing, isn't it?
You can just take it, have your bowl of popcorn, not worry about anything, and just get sucked in and enjoy it. You don't have to keep. I love a movie where you keep thinking, but I also love a movie where you don't have to think at all.
No, I completely agree.
I think a lot of people have forgotten that. And I think that stems, I think we've had the best of times to the youngsters now, because we experienced that in the 80s where we was watching things that were basically just shite, but it was so much fun.
Yeah.
No,
the thing is,
sort of thought to it.
And the thing is, you look at the 80s, you had things like Commando and stuff like that, which were exactly that. They weren't highbrow, but they were legendary because that you just went to the cinema and you just escaped for a while, and you saw, that's why Hot Shots Part 2 was so good, because it took the piss out of those kind of action movies, because there's 500 people getting killed by 7 bullets, and and Arnie just flexing his muscles with the obligatory montage of him putting in all of his
gear on,
all of his gear
camouflage
on.
just,
that's what you want.
True Lies, going back to that had the same thing, and there's a scene that it just really made me laugh, and I thought it takes the piss out of the 80s, is when Jamie Lee Curtis has sort of been rescued by Arnold, and he's given her the little Uzi, and she drops it, and it goes down the stairs, doesn't it, slowly, and kills everybody in the room. And I think they never do that now. But that
is the sort of thing that you'd have in Naked Gun. That would be a Naked Gun joke.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, it takes a lot of courage to put that into an action film. Okay, so that was my number 8. Your number 7 was Born Identity.
It was.
So my number 7, talking about a movie that I think is just fun from the start, and it's from 2007. It's Shoot 'Em Up.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that in such a long time.
I haven't seen it, but it has got one of the best sex scenes in a movie, where it's Clive Owen and Monica Bellucci doing it while people are trying to kill them. And Clive Owen is going around with guns, and he uses a carrot to kill people because that's his thing. He's this guy with no name, and it's always munching on carrots, and he kills people with carrots. And Monica Bellucci is, I think, one of the sexiest movie stars ever. And even now, I watched her in Beetlejuice. And even there, she still looks amazing. Absolutely amazing.
She was married to that Vincent Cassel, wasn't she?
She was. Paul Giamatti is the baddie in it. And it's rip-roaring fun. It is totally ridiculous. But again, if you want to just check your brain at the door, and you want to have, hour and a half, 2 hours of fun, which is proper cinematic action fun, Shoot 'Em Up is the movie.
I must watch that again. That's been a long time, because they had another one come out at the same sort of time, didn't they? Was it Smoking Aces?
That's right, yeah. And the thing is, I think there was a lot of these movies that were kind of
trying to be Tarantino,
Tarantino-esque. That's what they were. But Shoot 'Em Up, I would thoroughly recommend it if anybody.
I'm going to watch that again. Yeah.
Go on then, Neil. Your number 6.
It's going to sound like I've got loads of Marvel, but I promise this is the last one. It's Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
I still think that holds up as a great action movie.
That's my number 5, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's my number 5.
Yeah, so I think this is the best Spider-Man movie after rewatching them all. And I'm sorry, Tom Holland, and I really love the last one you did with all the Spideys, but I still think Spider-Man 2 beats it. I think Sam Raimi put something new into all of the Marvel universe, in the way he filmed it, the whole style, the vulnerability of Spider-Man, everything. And Alfred Molina as Dr. Ock was just inspired casting. He was so good. And everybody thought it was going to be the second album syndrome, where it was just going to fail. It was better than the first one. And
ended up in the third album syndrome, didn't it? Because
it did.
The third one again, just of a trilogy, just not not good.
It has its moments though, but it's not.
It has
great.
its moments. I will agree.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a complete flop. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to be told off and told I'm wrong, but I do think it's the best Spider-Man movie.
Okay, I would say that the last one with all the Spiders for me is my
I'm
favorite.
not diminishing how good it is,
but in regards, in regards to, and the thing about Sam Raimi is that it doesn't matter what kind of movie he does, he always gets those Sam Raimi-isms in. Yeah. You know the Dutch angles and the
weird. Basically, the attack when Doc Ock turns into Dr. Octopus, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the power of the sun in the palm of my hand, and all of that. It's just
the quick zoom ins and stuff like that, which is just
the zooming of the claws and the arms.
So good, so good.
But
It's a great movie.
I mean, some of the CGI would be a lot better today, but you've got to forgive it for that. But it still works really well. That one, I agree, really well.
Totally agree. Yes, that's your number 6. That's my number 5. My number 6. I'm going for. Well, was it called John Rambo? I'm going for Rambo number 4.
Okay, yeah, it was just Rambo.
That sounds like a Lou Bega song.
Yeah.
Rambo number 4. A little bit of Monica on my side. A little bit Dooney. Rambo number 4.
Yeah, it was just Rambo. This is the one when he goes back into the jungle.
This is when he goes back, and if you've never seen Rambo, this is like, I mean, again, First Blood was its own kind of movie, went very gritty, down to earth.
Brilliant film, and
such
it would
a great
probably
drama.
Be high up there.
It's a drama, and then obviously Stallone was along with Schwarzenegger, the star of the 80s, and it was all about muscles, guns, killing people. Rambo 2, I love Rambo 2.
So do I. James Cameron wrote that,
but it's like a cartoon, isn't it? It is ridiculous. Rambo 3. Again, had a lot of knockers, but it had some moments in it. Had some. It's
got some great action moments. It's just how long Stallone's hair is in that one gets me
exactly. And there's bad acting at the end of Rambo 2, and but then this one is like gritty and real.
And I don't think I've seen as violent a shoot 'em up as this one.
It is brutal in the fact that there are guns that is cutting people in half or making. There's just mist. There's red mist because they just disintegrate, and babies being thrown on fires and
brutality of making those prisoners run across the minefields.
It is really a hard watch, but at the same time, Rambo, again, like John Wick and like Liam Neeson, he's there, and you want him to kill these evil people, and you want him to kill them because if you were in that position, you would want a John Rambo to be there on your side to look after you. You know, have you seen number 5?
Yeah,
I thought I
don't hate it. Yeah, it's okay. It's so brutal.
It's so brutal.
That bone collarbone.
Yes, it's kind of it's great that he's been able to see this character like he did with Rocky, to see this character through. He hasn't, because he does get hurt. That's the difference. I mean, obviously, he's shooting 5 bullets that kills 10 people, and they're shooting 500 to him, and 1 might hit him. Yeah, there's always that thing. That's the trope of an action star, an action movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, I've always liked Sylvester Stallone. He's made some crap, But then who? Pacino's made crap. De Niro's made crap.
They all do. Probably De Niro's catalogue from 2000 to now is probably 70% crap.
Yeah.
But you can't blame them for wanting to make the money and run.
I would take them for their victories, not for their defeats. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So someone that has been able to create 2 iconic characters like Rocky and Rambo.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, does it?
No, and Oscar as well.
Yeah.
Stop a man or shoot.
I'll tell you one I really like that a lot of people said was crap was Over the Top. The arm wrestling
one. Yeah,
that's a really sweet movie if you watch it again.
See, Cobra for me is like, I hate to sound pompous, but quintessentially like an 80s movie.
It is. I mean, it's nothing compared to what Stallone and that want to make it. Have you read about all of this? It was supposed to be a big serial killer thing, dark, but the studio were like, fuck no, you're Stallone. and they had to change it. But
Oh,
apparently,
really?
there's an edit and film version that's like 2 hours long.
Oh,
rather than
that'll be coming out soon then.
Well, we've all waited it for years.
But yeah, but again, if you like your action movies raw and bloody, then
And brutal,
then Rambo number 4. Oh lordy,
Sylvester Vega or whatever his name, Vega.
Okay, we're halfway through, so it's time for this
Pop quiz, hot shot.
pop quiz, hot shot indeed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the tagline for the poster of action movies from 2000 to 2009, and you need to give me the name of the movie. Okay?
Yep.
Here we go then. Number 1, the classic Western gets a kick in the pants.
In the 2000s.
It is from the year 2000. I'll give you that. The
I was
classic
go
Western.
Cowboys and Aliens, but it won't be, will it? City Slickers 2. I can't remember.
It's not. It's Shanghai Noon.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Jackie Chan and
Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, that was on TV the other day. Great film.
Oh, was it? I've never seen it. Maybe need to.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Is it? Okay. Number 2. In order to break the code, one man has to break the rules.
What year?
2004. In order to break the code, one man has to break the rules.
Sounds like something like Stallone would have done, like Lock Up, but that wasn't 2000s, was it?
Well, this is 2004.
Oh. I will go. I really don't know. I don't know. I can't even guess.
It was National Treasure with Nicolas Cage.
Easily forgettable.
Number 3. Number 3. We Were Warned. From 2009. We Were Warned.
Is that like War of the Worlds?
Was it like War of the Worlds, or was it?
Or is it War of the Worlds?
Is that your answer?
Yeah.
No. It was 2012.
Okay.
Number 4. Let me start again. There were our world. There were our world. I should do it like movie trailer man.
Battlefield Earth.
It was Transformers from 2007. Okay, number 5. The End Begins.
The End Begins.
2009. So this is just sneaking in. The End Begins. Oh, God, I can't do that. How does that bloke do it?
He talks like it all the time. I'll have 20 Marlboro, please.
Hey, honey, because you passed me the crisps.
Yeah, that's what it's like living in his house. Yeah. The End Begins. Let's say Batman. No, it can't be Batman. Fucking Bourne Ultimatum.
No, it was Terminator Salvation.
Okay. Easily forgettable films.
Indeed. Number 6. The Future Begins.
Terminator 3.
It was Star Trek from 2009. Number 7. No name, no past, nothing to lose. So I'll just say that this has been in one of our top 10s. Okay.
Born Identity.
Is that your answer?
Yeah.
No,
fuck.
It was Shoot 'Em Up. Okay, number 8. They Should Have Left Him Alone from 2004.
Should have left him alone.
They should have left him alone.
I really don't know. 2004. I don't know. No, I really don't know. I can't even think what to put in there from 2004.
The Bourne Supremacy.
Oh, fuck. One of the Bourne.
And number 9. So at the moment, you got 0, mate. Okay. But I think you're going to get these last 2. Okay. Number 9. The 4th film by Quentin Tarantino.
Kill Bill.
Yes! Well done, Neil. He's got one. Yeah. Well done.
I didn't know whether it was part 1 or part 2, so...
No, it's Kill Bill, part 1. Yeah. And number 10, the final one. There are 1,000 ways to raise your adrenaline. Today, Chev Chelios will need every single one.
That's oh fuck, what's it called? Crank.
Well done. You've finished in style, Neil.
Thank you very much.
You got 2 out of 10.
That'll do. They were hard, really, because they were films that I hadn't really thought about in years. National treasure.
And I tell you what, it's round about 2000 that movie posters didn't have taglines on there.
Yeah.
The amount of movies that I looked at that just didn't have it at all. It just had the name of the movie, the artwork, and then like the starring, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. They're thinking about it. You don't really see it now, do you?
No, you don't. No. No, it was definitely a thing that died off in the 90s.
Yeah, that's sad, really.
Okay, back to the job in hand. At number 5, you said Casino Royale.
I did.
At number 5, I said Spider-Man 2. So, what is your number 4?
Well, this is apt at the time of recording it. The sequel's coming out in the next few weeks. It's Gladiator.
Oh,
2000. I think
sneaked in there.
Yeah. I really liked this film. Again, it's not one that's aged. It's aged well. The CGI works quite well, although the Oliver Reed bit is really noticeable now. It wasn't when you first watched it. It was quite clever and understandable why they did it, but it's very noticeable.
I don't know. Even when I watched it the first time, you could tell. I mean, why they didn't get a guy that was a little bit tubbier.
Yeah.
To play like the backside of him. Obviously, people that don't know, Oliver Reed died during the production of the movie, so they had to reshoot bits and pieces and take footage of him and redo it and things like that. But yeah,
but the rest of it is a great swords and sandals sort of action movie. You know, you've got everything you want. Russell Crowe, fantastic. You've got the big battles at the beginning. You've got his downfall. Then you've got his meteoric rise as the gladiator inside. Joaquin Phoenix is probably one of the nastiest villains going. I just think it's just a great movie, and to me, it'll be up there still now as one of my faves, along with the others that I've got in the list, obviously. But
interesting, it's only number 4. But that, I completely echo what you say. Excuse me.
This is what I said. The top 4 could probably all be top number ones.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's fair.
They're my favourites of the era.
Yeah. No, that's a great one. Okay, my number 4 was one that we had in the quiz, and I'm going for the 2006 Crank.
Okay, I haven't seen it in years, but
if you want just an absolute batshit crazy, and it is ridiculous. It is a ridiculous movie that he gets injected with this thing that if his heart, it's basically Speed, the Keanu Reeves movie. If his heart doesn't go a certain amount of beats, then it'll stop and he'll die. So he does all these things, he's shagging in public and doing
it caused a lot of controversy.
Absolutely.
That movie when it came out.
Just drinking loads of Red Bull and stuff to keep himself pumped.
Yeah.
And it's got the guy who played Pedro from
Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite on there as well. Again, they made a sequel. The sequel ended up... Again, spoilers. If you look at the final scene where Chev Chelios falls out of a plane and lands and crashes on the floor... Then there's a sequel which starts right as that happens. The sequel is absolutely ridiculous, and I know they were talking about doing a number 3.
There was and ahhing, weren't they? Because they went on to make the were they brothers or whatever they were that made the film? 2 people, weren't they? They went on to make that Gamer with Gerard Butler, which is just fucking batshit crazy as well.
Yeah,
the Crank nearly came into my top 10. Genuinely, it was one of the ones on my list. But the only reason I couldn't is I don't remember all of it because it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah, Neville, Dean and Taylor were the directors.
There you go. I think they're separated now and do their own stuff.
So.
Because didn't they also do the second Ghost Rider movie?
I think yes. I think
they
right.
did, and that's so much better than the first one.
Yeah, they did. They wrote Crank 2 as well. Jonah Hex. They wrote that.
No, that was awful.
That wasn't good.
Was dreadful. That was.
But yeah, it's I just think it's just so much fun because it's so ridiculous. And again, Jason Statham is brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant in it. And it is I love the manic way that it's filmed and photographed as well.
Yeah.
They've got a certain kind of the way that the film looks, and it just looks just fucking batshit.
It's all grainy in a way.
It's all It's very, very cleverly done.
And vivid colours, great colours.
Yeah.
Even though I'm colourblind.
Just another thing to add to the list.
Yeah, no. At least I've been colourblind all my life.
Oh, that is
not
true.
Not like my son said. Do you see in black and white, Dad? No, it's not the way it works.
Oh dear. Okay, you're number 3 then, Neil.
Right. So this may shock some people as well. I've put The Dark Knight there.
Okay.
Which I think is a very, very strong Batman movie. I enjoy Heath Ledger's The Joker and everything like that. I do think it's got a weak third act.
I completely agree. I
think that third act is quite a disappointment in the whole thing, but it is overall a fantastic movie. I went with your brother, 4:00 in the morning on the day of release. We went to the big IMAX cinema in Waterloo, London, and we watched it on the IMAX. And it's the first time I'd ever experienced a film like that. Well, I had seen clips because me and your brother previously, about a year before, went to watch I Am Legend just to see the 2-minute preview.
I remember that.
Yeah, so we watched that, and I've never been so blown away on a film on a screen for the first time since I was young and taken to see like Raiders and films like that. I just didn't take my eyes off the screen once. I didn't give a shit what people, if they were talking or on the phone. I was concentrating because it blew me away. And the whole thing is fantastic. Yes, controversially, I don't think Heath Ledger's the best Joker, but I think he was perfect for the movie. I think all of it in that movie is great. Harvey Dent, the whole arc of that.
Yeah.
Didn't even notice that they'd swapped the Rachel over.
That's right, yeah.
It just didn't.
It was Maggie Gyllenhaal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I completely agree with it's just got such a weak ending.
Yeah,
for a movie that is so good. And maybe that was a telltale of what was going to come, because I watched The Dark Knight Rises again just because it was on, and there's parts of it that are really good, but there are so many like plot holes in it.
For sure.
Which is crazy for like
for a Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan movie. To be so lazy in its writing, that's what I've never understood. I've never understood that.
Can you hand on heart say you're a fan of every Chris Nolan film though?
No,
because I watched Tenet and I didn't enjoy that at all.
We went to the cinema just after, as we were coming out of lockdown, to watch that, and apart from the fact that everybody in the cinema was going, "What did he say?" I couldn't hear because the music was so loud.
Right.
The music mix, which what he's done in a few of his movies.
Yeah,
it becomes so loud that and the same was like with Bane. You couldn't understand what he was saying, and then they had to go and redo it, because in the trailer I can remember the people saying like, I don't understand. So in Tenet, and also it's the fact that it's so clever that it was it was like Christopher Nolan is going, I'm clever than you, the audience, so tough shit. If you can't be as clever as I am, I'm not going to explain things to you. Yeah. And you end up just getting lost.
I mean, I was lost, and when a film loses you is when you start doing other things.
Yes.
And Tenet did that to me.
Yeah,
there's not a bad performance in it, and it looks fantastic. But it just, I still, if people said to me, "What's it about?" I haven't got a fucking clue.
So when you were at the cinema, were you just like running around and doing your
No, I didn't watch it till I was at home.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. I haven't been to the cinema for a few years now. So,
but to be fair, we've been a couple of times, and it's not what it used to be.
No,
the experience is not the same. I would much prefer to just watch. We went and saw Deadpool, Wolverine, and I went and saw Beetlejuice. But it's just not. It's like even the cinemas don't give a shit anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's like
so sad. Isn't
it's
it?
like what did we go? We were going to go and see that James McAvoy movie.
Oh, Speak No Evil.
Yeah, and we got in there, and all of a sudden we heard this thud, and then this high pitched screech was coming from the speakers. So we went to go and find somebody, and everybody that was working there looked like they were 12.
Yeah, that's a problem,
and nobody. I was, they all basically looked like the young kiddie that's in The Simpsons. So whenever they go in, they're
yeah.
oh yeah, hello. and it got so loud you couldn't stay in there. So in the end, they were just saying, "Oh, sorry, we'll have to just give you your money back." And then because there was nobody there that could deal with it, and I thought they just don't give a shit. No, they don't.
Yeah. Speaking recently, they reopened a cinema near where we lived under a different banner now, haven't they? And a friend of mine went to watch the Terrifier 3 there, and he said, I sat down, we got 45 minutes in, and it started again from the beginning. And he said, we literally left the cinema at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Because we had to watch it again because those films are long. I mean, I did ask him if it was any good, and he said, no, it's a big pile of shit.
Yeah.
It's the least terrifying movie I think I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
But again,
what's some money, though, eh?
There's not... They use... I mean, like back in the day, my dad used to be a projectionist in the local cinema. And it's... I'm not saying it's an art, but somebody is carefully putting the reels on. Now it's just pre-programmed, press a button, and again, nobody gives a shit. You just press it, and I'm just going to leave that.
Do you still get trailers and all at the beginning?
Yeah, you still get trailers, but it just the atmosphere just isn't the same. You know,
I've lost interest in going.
I've absolutely done the same. The only reason we go is because you get 2 free tickets every month with Sky.
Yeah, I've been giving mine away.
Yeah, it's the only reason. If I wouldn't be paying to go.
No, there's nothing there.
There is literally
I just find
nothing.
it mad that they're destroying the cinemas, and Warner's and Disney are terrors for this. They release their stuff so early from the cinema now.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't watched the new Wolverine movie, and that's purposely because obviously, circumstance I couldn't get to the cinema, and it's coming to Disney in 2 weeks. Yeah, so it'll be on there, and I thought, well, I'll just.
Mate,
I did watch a bit.
It is so good.
I went to the Chinese at the weekend, and they had it on in there.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, to pick up some tea, and I was halfway through, and I was like, I haven't seen this movie, and I don't want to. I
meant to say to you, for our Patreon subscribers, right? I've done a couple of videos where I've changed a couple of my top 10s. So I did one for Taylor Swift, and I did one for my MCU movies, and I've put Deadpool v Wolverine now as my number 2.
Wow.
MCU movie.
I'll be intrigued then to see.
Because it is, and the ending, if you don't cry at the end,
right? Just
an amazing use of. You may have seen the memes and that with the Like a Prayer music.
A little bit. Not too much.
It makes. It's got that same Endgame feelings for me, and it makes me cry every time I see it.
Oh, awesome!
And Hugh Jackman is just fantastic. He is
they're on
so
about
good.
Working together again, aren't they?
I hope they do, because they work so well together. They really do.
Yeah. Does it warrant another Deadpool and Wolverine movie? Though,
no, I don't think it does. I think if they just did it now, so that Deadpool is part of the MCU and makes little cameo performances, perfect. They don't need to do any more. They don't need to bring Wolverine completely back. Yeah. They perfectly explained, because obviously the end of Logan.
Yeah.
That is perfectly sorted out in the first 10 minutes. Perfectly done. It is just so good. I was really surprised how good it was.
Right.
But it is so good. Yeah.
I am looking forward to that. Yeah. I am looking forward to that. And
if you want to see my choices of that, then it's on the Patreon as Pav's Addendums, is what I call it. So anyway, that was your number 3. My number 3 was Iron Man.
Yeah.
So your number 2 then, please, Neil.
So it's Fellowship of the Ring, which I think is the strongest of all the Lord of the Rings. I've always been a big fan of this one, and watching them all again, the extended, it's the one that grips me the most. It's the one I think is the best.
Yeah.
It's really, just all of it it's magical to me. But I did notice watching them again recently. I had to do it via Blu-ray. It's the only way I got the extended. I did notice some of the CGI, which I'd never noticed before and genuinely hadn't. It's quite ropey now. Really is some of it.
I know when they're
quite
running over that bridge and stuff, that looked
Yeah,
a bit kind of.
I mean, not as bad as like Blade 2. If you've ever,
Well, no, come on.
have you seen
Nothing's
the
as bad
CGI?
as Blade 2.
I really like the movie, but the CGI, man, it's dreadful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love the character build. Again, it's an origin movie, but it explains it so well. And having an extended version, a lot of the times you think, oh God, it's just adding things that we really don't need to see.
Yeah.
But that puts so much into that movie and more. It's just perfect, that film.
I do agree with you. I must admit, I'm not a bigger fan of it as you are. It didn't make my top 10, but it definitely deserves to be up there without a doubt. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 2. I'm going for 2007's 300.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that nearly made my top 10.
Again, it's very well. It is basically a cartoon strip. It's a graphic novel. If you look at the graphic novel, Frank Miller, I think, isn't it?
It was Frank Miller. Yeah.
Some of the comic pains that are there, Zack Snyder has absolutely recreated to the dot some of the shots. And again, it is a batshit crazy movie with some of the bits that are in it, but I think it's so well done. Now again, whether or not it feels like it's got the CGI fuzz on it. Do you know what
it's
I mean?
actually, I mean, I watched it. It was on one of the number 2 channels, whichever one in our things. And I rewatched it with the adverts. Thoroughly enjoyed it, but it still looks great like a comic book. Because the other one I think works really well and still holds up is Sin City.
Sin City. I was going to say
again,
the same
nearly put in my thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't. Again, tomorrow it could be in there. Both of those. So yeah, I'm with you. It's a great movie. It's a great action movie.
Absolutely
Gerard Butler looks great. Michael Fassbender looks great.
Yeah.
You know, even so I slid to the other side watching those greased up oily men. I'm thinking, why couldn't I was like that at school?
You mentioned in the 10-minute top 10 that we recorded for Patreon that you were quite svelte and you had a 6-pack when you were at school. So did you look like the people from 300?
Well, not as grown up, but yeah, I wasn't quite as muscly as,
there was no hair around the balls then, was there? No?
Well, there may have been, but I was 14, 15, 16, that sort of age.
It was just downy fluff, wasn't it?
Yeah, But no, I wasn't quite. But also, of course, they're defined, aren't they, with the CGI? And,
that is true.
The makeup, everything. Yeah, they're all that shading. But it's so good. It's so, the way he kicks that bloke straight back down the well. This is Sparta and all of that.
Yeah.
Gerard Butler was fantastic in that role.
That is so good.
Again, he's another bloke that I find really watchable.
Right.
What's that one that he's Den of Thieves? If you've never seen it, I would honestly, they're making a sequel to it now.
I think so. And that Greenland, did you see Greenland?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
That was really good.
A popcorn movie as well, though, wasn't it? Really
good.
Yeah.
Okay, before we reveal our number 1 choices, Neil, do you want to give us your 10 to 2, and I'll do the same.
Absolutely. So at number 10, I have Iron Man in 2008. Number 9, Taken, 2008. Number 8, X-Men 2, 2003. And number 7, The Bourne Identity, 2002. That's 22 years ago.
That's crazy,
isn't it? Mad. I remember going to the cinema to see that. Spider-Man 2, 2004, 20 years ago. Ouch. Casino Royale, 2006 is number 5. Number 4 is Gladiator, 2000. Number 3, The Dark Knight, 2008. And number 2, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, 2001.
Lovely. And mine is number 10, Bourne Identity, 2002. 9, Casino Royale, 2006. 8, The Transporter, 2002. 7, Shoot 'em Up, 2007. 6 is Rambo number 4, 2008. 5, Spider-Man 2, 2002. 4 was Crank, 2006. 3 was Iron Man, 2008. And 2 was 300, 2007. So, Neil, what is your number 1 action movie of the 2000s?
Well, I couldn't not. It's Kill Bill Volume 1.
Okay.
I couldn't not. It is the action film that we all wanted to see Tarantino do. That could he put his mind to such a thing? I think he created what was a perfect kung fu movie. And the only place to put a kung fu movie is in action. People say, what about number 2? I said, well, I wouldn't put that in an action movie because that number 2 is a Western. Deep down a Western. I wouldn't put it as action, but number 1 is a full-on action. Even the sequences, we've spoken about it loads. I don't really need to go through it all together. What I love about it, it was just something refreshing, awesome to see, and it's still refreshing and awesome to see. Yeah. And it just makes you still scream for that whole bloody affair.
Indeed. See, now the weird thing is, anyone that knows and anyone that's listened to these podcasts knows that Tarantino is my favorite director. Okay, and so Kill Bill Volume 1 should be in my top 10. Yeah. Now, the reason it is not in my top 10 is because I class Tarantino as a genre all to himself.
Okay, well,
so I don't class it as an action movie. I class it as a Tarantino movie. Now, is that right? Is it not? Because Reservoir Dogs is a gangster movie, is a heist movie.
Yeah.
You could probably label each of his movies as certain genres.
Genre, yeah.
Hateful Eight is a Western, and like you say, Kill Bill 2 is a Western. And, is it a kung fu movie, Kill Bill 1?
Well, then I would put kung fu into action. Because,
as action, yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why I put it. But yeah, it's definitely a kung fu movie. There's no two ways about it. That's what it is. I mean, it even honors the old-fashioned Shaw Brother movies that used to be. So
yeah. So that's the reason that it isn't in my top 10. Is because I've classed it as that.
Fully understandable.
Now, if my number 1 is the same as one of yours, then that means we've got 5 the same, which means I've won Lisa's challenge.
Yeah. Okay.
So my number 1 is Gladiator.
Hey,
it was the first one I thought of, and again, you could put it down as it's a sword and sandals epic, which it absolutely is. But all the Colosseum stuff, just on its own, is great. But then the battle at the start,
it's great.
And then you have all the gladiator stuff going on in different arenas that he's on. And the sort of a battle at the end. It's just such a great film.
Are you looking forward to the second one?
I am looking forward to the second. I think anything that my favourite actor Denzel Washington signs up for has to be something
good in some way,
a bit special. Has to be, because I couldn't see that he would. Why would he want to do it if it isn't something? It's not just going to be a cash.
But then
grab.
He's great friends with Ridley Scott, isn't he?
He is. And the thing is, the trailers have been mixed. Some of them
yeah,
good,
that's exactly what. Because there's one shot, isn't there, in the trailer when it comes back and the arena or the Colosseum is full of water.
Yeah,
that looks so CGI. It's unreal.
It does. And the thing is, like when they start saying things that Maximus said in the first one, you think, oh, okay, you don't need to do that. But I'm quite happy to watch it when it comes out.
Yeah, me too. I'm quite excited for it because I do love Paul Mescal. He seems to be a great actor, doesn't he? At the moment,
he seems to be the thing or one of the things at the moment.
At the moment, and I just think the guy, the films I've watched that he's been in, and that Normal People, the TV series, I just think he's so good an actor. He really is. Yeah, it's almost he takes you on those journeys. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the second one. I'm just a little bit nervous, especially now Ridley Scott has come out in one of the interviews and said that they're thinking of how to do the third one.
That's right, yeah.
And I think,
as we found tonight, the third one is very hard to pull off.
Yeah.
Very hard. Okay, we've got a couple of honourable mentions. Doug, The Simpsons.
Oh, bless Doug.
Said number 5, Casino Royale, 4, Hot Fuzz, 3, The Dark Knight, 2, Return of the King, and 1, Spider-Man 2. And he said this was tough. You have no idea. Kareem Pasta says, I love Hot Fuzz, The Dark Knight, and The Bourne Supremacy. Chris Hughes, hello Chris, said absolutely love Hot Fuzz. So many quotable lines like he's not Judge Judy and Executioner. Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
And our old friend Stu Grant says Kill Bill Volume 1, District 9, which is another great one.
Oh yeah.
Itchy the Killer.
That's hard to say.
That is a fucked up movie.
I lent that to somebody recently because I've got it over there with I've got quite a lot of extreme films in the cabinet, and I lent it to somebody, and they gave it me back. They said I lasted 45 minutes, Neil.
That's it with the movies that you give people, Neil. So Itchy the Killer, Spider-Man 2, The Bourne Trilogy, Gone in 60 Seconds, Shoot 'em Up, and The Host.
Okay,
that is a great movie.
That is a great movie, but again, I know it's the people that did Harry Potter, but the CGI, watching it now, is quite shocking, really.
I agree. That's it. We've done it.
Oh, that flew by.
We absolutely done it, Neil. I think we've sorted it out, and I think we're both right. I really do.
Always.
So if you want to hear about all our gubbins and all our socials, listen to at the end of the podcast, and you'll hear Neil's dulcet tones tell you everything there. Neil, it's always nice to talk to you, mate. It's lovely to see you.
It's always a pleasure to be back. Things are on the right path up, I'll tell everybody now.
Good.
So, well, fingers crossed they are.
Well, don't, for fuck's sake, don't cross your fingers because you'll break them or something.
I'm just keeping them crossed constantly.
Everybody that is watching and listening, including me, has got everything crossed for you as well, Neil. Okay.
And I will say thank you very much for everybody that reached out and has sent me all the love this year. I will be back. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'll be back before the year's out.
Excellent. So that's it. So from me and from Neil, Thank you very much, everybody, for watching and listening. And let's go start the countdown.